Tabletop Spotlight, brought to you by Dragon's Lair Comics and Fantasy. Hey everyone, I'm AdamHarry from Bella Souls with
Drake from Dragon's Lair Comics and Fantasy.
And we're back with another Tabletop Spotlight. Drake, what do you got today, man?
This is the new Ripper's Resurrected Player's Guide.
Ooh, Rippers. That's Savage Worlds, right?
Yeah, they had a run of source books a while back. This is new Ripper's Resurrected. It is a new storyline, slightly new setting, couple years, I think 3 years past the former Rippers system.
Okay, let's back up. What is Rippers?
So, the Rippers is an organization of monster hunters who have perfected the technology, the technology involved in obtaining the kind of mystical, magical powers of the monsters they hunt.
Oh.
So a character could, say, graft a vampire's maxilla into their face and grow fangs. Like
Nice. So basically, the Rippers are the players, and
you play
they're
as
a monster hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of what, steampunk, Victorian, or?
Yeah, it's a steampunk, late 1800s kind of era.
Awesome. So you're a monster hunter, hunting monsters, and stealing their power.
Exactly.
This sounds pretty awesome. Let's take a look inside the book. All right, man, we're looking at Rippers Resurrected.
Yep, Player's Guide.
Player's Guide, yep.
So, and it came with the full run. There's GM screen. There's a runner.
Yeah.
For all the things.
And of course, it's again Savage Worlds. So
So it's a familiar system. They have a lot going on. You live in the system. You have access to a lot of different settings.
The fun thing too is if you're playing in a Savage Worlds game, you can combine them all if you want to get really wacky. So yeah, I'll one real quick too. Back of the book. Nothing crazy, just some text about it. So
yeah, the usual.
Yep.
Do.
Check them out online. All right, so let's open this bad boy up and take a look here. So there's our whole table of contents here. So we've got
quick finds.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of this, like this whole middle section here, is just info about specifically this version of Earth, like this.
Right.
What Europe, for the most part, and then into I think Asia as well.
Right. I mean, this is basically the source book for playing in the Ripper system.
Right. Everything a player would need to know.
Exactly. So you've got, how to make your heroes, you've got all your equipment, how that all works, the extra rules that obviously you're going to have playing in the Ripper system.
Right. What's different about this one as opposed to another?
Ripper tech as well.
Yeah, which is kind of the focal point of this system, what makes this unique. You got guns, crossbows, armor, gizmos, but you get that in a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
Ripper tech is what stands out for Rippers, as you may have guessed.
Right. And then of course this all, timeline-wise, is Victorian era, so keep that in mind too as we're flipping through. Cool, so we've got some classic monsters in here. We've got vampires, werewolves, all that fun stuff, zombies.
Yeah, exactly. The main human antagonist is actually the Vatican itself, who views the Rippers as this evil organization who are collecting power for themselves rather than turning it against the monsters they obtained it from.
Okay, and this whole backstory, I mean, it mentions Jack the Ripper. He's not an actual Ripper. He's like a murderer or something different.
He was an antagonist. In the last run of Rippers, the first one, the Cabal was the main villain, and that was kind of a counter organization to the Rippers, who were defeated when Van Helsing was leading the Rippers 3 years prior.
Okay, and again, this picks up 3 years later, so this is a continuation of that. So if you played the previous Rippers supplement, you can kind of keep playing.
If you had a Ripper character when these were last printed, you can pick up with that character and keep going.
Awesome.
Hypothetically.
And again, we're flipping through here. It's a lot of cool art. There's a lot of text. Obviously, it's a very dense book, but they have these cool kind of call-outs, different kind of letters written in the era.
Yeah,
style.
which I like when that kind of thing is evidence. It's something that your character can cite for your real-world knowledge to break down the meta a bit.
Right. And then we've got, this is again, I think this is making your character. So if you've never made a character or played in Savage Worlds, I'll give you a real quick overview, everybody at home here. Savage Worlds, RPG system, it's more storytelling based. So think of it less like stat based and more actually role playing instead of rolling dice role playing. The stats and abilities and stuff like that are based off of a polyhedral set. So if you're really bad at something, you roll a smaller dice. So for instance, if you're really bad at shooting, you might only have a D4 assigned to that slot. If you're really good at shooting, you might have a D12 assigned to that slot. And that kind of determines your rank in that ability. And we'll see later on there's certain skills and abilities that you get that for the requirements of them, you have to have a certain type of of dice. Either like you have to have like 3 stats that are D6 or better to get this ability. So we'll get into that later. But that's just a really quick overview.
As opposed to just having a rank or a cutoff number.
Instead of being like, I'm rank 5 and I get to add 5 to my rolls. It's, you're using the whole polyhedral set, not just the D20.
Yeah, for skill.
For skill stuff, exactly. And again, it's all role playing, so I believe that it's really more about the group you're playing with than the game system, but that's a whole other topic. Anyway, so moving on, that's how you make your characters. Really simple stuff. Again, not super complicated to make characters, but they do have some new Ripper-specific rules in here, obviously. Yes. So here's some of the new edges. Edges are kind of like, if you're playing D&D, that's kind of like your feats or something like that.
Yeah, like passive, kind of like extra benefits on top of whatever class or...
Yeah, a lot of these can help you do extra dice or extra abilities or have extra effects when whatever happens. So it's pretty cool stuff.
And these are like specific to different sources. Like here we have social edges. If you want to take some of those, or professional edges, faction edges, things that yielded different benefits based on what they kind of pertain to.
Right. Perfect.
Which is a typical kind of
Right. And then we're getting into some of the new equipment in here. We're not going to go through every page on this book. Obviously, there's a lot. But this is some of the cool stuff in Rippers. We've got the Van Helsing crossbow looking thing here. Your repeating crossbow. Again, it's Victorian era, so we've got a little bit of that steampunk vibe.
I think this is probably a flamethrower with way extra tubes and gaskets than what you...
I don't know if you know this, but you can never have enough tubes for your flamethrower.
Yeah. As separate as you can keep the flammable.
That's science. But yeah, it's also holy water's a big deal. You're fighting monsters, so like Dracula, vampires, and
things you would need.
Bump in the night, grappling hooks, more crazy backpacks. Was that a proton pack? I don't know. Goes over all the different ammo.
And here with the tables.
All the tables. And you can see too, like the damage on this stuff. A lot of the stuff is like 2d6, 3d6. I mean, obviously you're gonna roll out of d6s in the system with the different ranks and stuff. So, but it's all based on that. It's a pretty great system. I've actually played a couple of campaigns in this system, so it works really well, again, for the storytelling side of things. The setting rules, this is what we were talking about earlier when the Ripper-specific stuff, right? So, kind of hard to tell upside down.
You're dealing with monsters, it's kind of an innate pseudo-horror setting, so you have a fright table.
Right, which is there.
Yes, so it's, okay, you're frightened, but people behave erratically, so certain factors will contribute to that.
Yeah. And then what have we got? What's that? I can't. Upside down there?
Favor.
Favor.
Favor costs.
Yeah. Favors are things you can get in game. Obviously, benefits, stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah. Lodges and things like that. Again, I think this is a section...
There's more edges.
More edges? Lodges. Okay, we're talking about... There's a lot of edges. There's a lot of basically feats
lodges are your different kind of subgroups within the Rippers. There's a huge organization, but they're like sub-factions within it. Kind of like Vampire Masquerade, you have different families.
Right. And those are lodge-specific.
Yeah, these will be
edges.
Similar as far as their differences. Like you're all fighting evil, but there's differences in ideology and how to fight that evil and how to use Ripper tech.
One of the things I want to call it too is it does have a lot of really cool artwork. Her mask though reminds me of Casey Jones from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm just throwing it out there. This could be his mom or great-great-grandma. I don't know, but I'm throwing it out there.
Martha Jones.
Martha Jones. On his dad's side. More stuff. Again, I wanted to get to...
So here are the rips.
The rips. That's what I was looking for.
Here's Ripper Tech. Is where it just gets started.
Do you want to go over one of these real quick? Gills is kind of lame, but let's talk about...
Demon Horns?
There we go. Let's talk about that one. So Drake, can you read that if I tilt it just slightly?
So Demon Horns over here, it has a -1 to your sanity.
I think, yeah.
So the more you graft onto yourself, the less human you become. And each one has like a quantitative assessment of how much it dehumanizes you.
Right.
So like putting a hag's heart in your chest
probably a bad call.
Takes more away from you than just getting horns.
What does the hag's heart do though in game? Like why would you ever want to have a hag's heart implanted?
Implanting a witch's heart causes an immediate surge of magical energy. As an extract, which is you can distill it down to more like a potion for a one shot rather than implant it permanently.
Okay.
Kind of like in The Witcher.
Oh yeah.
Like you mix
take a little
mutagens.
Swig. Yeah.
As an extract, the surge is temporary. Basically, you gain power points.
Right, and I think
with which to cast spells and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's what it does.
So it has to be any evil spellcaster. Doesn't have to be a witch. Obviously, it replaces your own heart if it's a surgery. And Implanted Heart gains character with arcane background.
Magic, 10 extra power points.
Yeah.
So that's some of the benefits here in game. Why would you ever want to take those minuses? Because you get some pretty awesome boosts
soups up your magic.
Yeah. So and there's dozens and dozens of different type of rips you can get. It's
pulling from witches, werewolves, zombies, vampires, all different like physical and like the heart more kind of esoteric.
Eat its heart to gain its power. Bingo.
Take its heart and put it in your own chest to gain its power.
Or distill it down and make a nice little drink out of it. Yes. Witch's brew. That's what that's called. Again, we're talking about the setting more in a Victorian life here in this whole section. Talks about the era, talks about some of the major conflicts. Yeah. It's more background information, but it's all useful stuff.
Which is good to have, because obviously if you're into this sort of setting, you're at least more or less familiar with how it works.
There's a really awesome map right there.
But this is really diverse. Yeah, and it's a cool map.
It is a sweet map.
It'd be fun to go to America.
Around the turn of the century, 1900s.
Wendigos.
Boom. We've got more stuff, again, background, that's pretty much the rest of the book. Is there an adventure included with this one? I don't remember. There might be.
I saw a lot in the Game Masters.
Oh, okay.
I was looking at that.
But this has the lodges in the back, so more detail on the lodges. That was
sub-factions, basically.
That's the lodge. Which one was this one? The Red Wolf Lodge. Yeah, if I'm reading that right. And then more info on the Red Wolf Lodge. So there's just all the different lodges that your character can be a part of, the different associations there. But like you're saying, the DMG, the Game Master's Guide had all of the kind of background story or pre-gen stories.
Yeah. It looked like there were a good few in there, and based on triggered events. That I thought was cool. It was each one was set up for a specific way. The one that I looked at out of that book, it was like when the group is building a new lodge or building a new, like when that happens, they get infiltrated by the Vatican, and there's a specific NPC that it gives stats for and kind of some role-playing aspects that is in charge of that invasion.
Okay.
And you can either take him or one of his henchmen prisoner, and he's able to yield so much information.
Awesome. Well, that's pretty much the end of this book. As you can see, it's quite a lot of information for Rippers in the Savage World. Why don't we hop out for a really quick recap? So that was Rippers, the Resurrected Player's Guide. Pretty cool stuff. Again, part of the Savage Worlds line of RPGs. Let's run some numbers really quick. What is this one going to run you?
$19.99.
Not too bad. That's actually a really good deal.
Yeah.
That's like...
I mean, it's what we've definitely seen a lot for the, like kind of modular Savage Worlds paperbacks.
Right. I mean, I was going to say this is like a trade paperback for a comic, and that's about the same price for some of the larger ones. So, yeah. Roughly. They've gone up in prices in the past year, but anyway. But yeah, that's actually a really good deal. It adds a lot to your Savage Worlds games.
Yeah, it's a full setting.
Right, exactly. Full setting. You can actually, again, like I mentioned earlier, you can combine this with your other Savage World stuff if you wanted to get crazy.
Totally crossover.
Yeah. That's always fun. So watch out for that. Anyway, it's in stores. This is new? Or brand new today? Or brand new this week? Or has it been
the last couple of weeks?
Okay, cool. So pretty new product.
I believe last week.
Awesome. Well, depends too on when they see this video. Could be out by years by the time you see it. I don't know. It's in stores. Go check it out. This has been another Tabletop Spotlight. I'm AdamHarry from Bell Souls.
I'm Drake with Dragons and Comics and Fantasy.
Thanks again for watching. Have a good one. Tabletop Spotlight brought to you by Dragon's Lair Comics and Fantasy. Thanks for watching.